Thanks for being here. Let's begin. And we'll start by connecting, of course, to our breath, our sense of seated. We can feel that through the tailbone, the foot bones spreading, active feet, and the skull bones floating, lifting away from the tail. Got the weight of the arms hanging, the hands opening. And feel the back of skull area, the skull-neck juncture, growing lighter, more spacious. We'll take 3 deep breaths directly into that back of head space. So as we work today, consider a quality of energy that you most want to host in your cells. And consider this not just as a conceptual abstraction, but consider it as you're breathing. So you immediately start to sense that quality entering into your breath stream, your bloodstream immediately. Our emotional responses, our energetic configuration is really quite malleable, and we have a lot of choice. And so I just thought we would start right off with selecting the quality of energy, the quality of breath that we most want to host. So let's just start right off with the good stuff. And with a practice like this, it's okay if we lean into a scene or a place to just start to get the beginnings of it. But to be clear, we're not sending our mind off into a fantasy realm. So it's not that kind of practice. It is an embodiment, a visceral, real-time practice. And that you start to feel that in your breath, in your body, as soon as now. So we're going to work Kapalabhati, and then we'll do some breath holds or Uddiyana. So let's begin. The Kapalabhati are short, sharp exhalations, low belly, tip of nose. We'll do just a handful, and then I'll reconnect us and we can go from there. So low belly. A quick thrust of an exhale. And some practitioners will go a little more swiftly with that. So that'll be a good spot. A few deep breaths. There may be a few of us who are watching this, doing this practice later, and you will be able to have heard the exhalations, just kind of the nature of some of the sound. But now we can together work a round of Uddiyana. So if your fingertips reach the ground, we'll go fingertips to ground and feet active. And inhale. I'm getting quite full with breath. I like to pause there, holding the breath, push down through the fingertips. Again, feet active. If you want a little more stretch through the chest, squeeze the blades a bit together, moving the shoulders away from the jaw. Bring hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty and draw the belly in. Draw in, draw back, feet still active, lifting up. I'm lifting the low belly and the lower mass of my torso up. And release. We'll resume our Ujjayi breath. We'll do one more round Uddiyana, and I'll talk us through that Uddiyana. It's the second portion of what we just did. So we're going fingertips to ground, inhaling to a point of fullness. Pause, hold. And bring hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty, feet still active, drawing the belly in and back. Releasing when through. And once again, resume your Ujjayi breath. We'll straighten the right leg out, and the left leg shall be bent. If your heel does not go behind or outside of the hip, you can put the heel in front of the groin. The deciding factor would be comfort or pain. If you have massive discomfort or pain with it here, we switch it. Right. With my ankle on the outside, left hand, it's kind of a gable grip, just or a J hook, hooking that shin. I'm actually hanging the weight of my torso to the right, toward my leg. If you don't have an ankle to grab, a shin to grab, you'll do this as a outreach of the left arm. Now just starting to spread your breath into these outer left ribs, the ones right up here in the armpit area. Reaching through that inner right leg line. The leg line allows me to kind of arch my chest forward. And we'll move into side bend. So I'm letting the right hand have my weight. Inhale, reaching that left arm out and just circling it up overhead. Just feeling the smoothness, feeling into that shoulder joint a bit. Exhaling, opening up the left hand, spreading the hand bones and reaching through every fingertip. And once again, I've got this access to the left side ribs, the armpit ribs. So start breath in that left side axilla. And spreading, working that breath down through the waist. As we're moving this quality of energy through our body, I find it very helpful to feel the breath as fluid substance, moving, watery, ocean-like, air-like substance, and just to feel that fluidity in and through the body. Forward fold, I'll bring the left hand down. All right, let's walk our way out of there. Just switch sides. So I set the left leg out, bending the right knee. I'm going heel behind my hip. Just remember, we can go heel in front of groin. You can hook, kind of a thumbless hook onto the shin. I take a little extra care to feel the glide of this right arm bone back, the head of the shoulder. Okay. And one of the ways I can do that is if I somewhat lift my chest forward, which I can enact if my inner leg is engaged. So I engage the leg, I can lift the chest, the head of my shoulder can slip toward the rear side of my rib cage. moving into side bend. Open up that right hand. I'm just going to smoothly kind of circle that arm over. And so when we're working with this particular quality of energy in our practice, in our body, the poses, these various configurations, the way that I use them, their configuration is helpful to bringing that quality all throughout the body. Okay, so how can that breath register and meet the upper back, the armpit, the breast tissue? How does that quality of breath meet this right side, the lung, the waist, the right side of the sacrum? So, in a sense, it's a conscious sprawling in and re-entry into the body. How does the body become enlivened again? And here's that forward fold. So bring that right hand, inhale the right hand down. I'm taking the hands to either side of my left leg. And so just in this slight configuration shift, maybe this starts to change the sensation, the bias. The sensations are just helpful guides. Just helpful guides to relocate us, to help us unpack some of the information, the way the energies become stored or aggregates in our body. And inhaling, we'll walk the hands back toward the pelvis, upright. Unwind. So we'll be setting up dolphin and we'll be working. I'll be talking through strut. The caveat, the requirement for this dolphin strut is that I can shift my weight onto one shoulder. Not everyone's shoulder will be up for that. So, if that is you, then you'll simply leave all of your arm limbs on the ground for the duration of this pose. So I set the elbows under the shoulders and the forearms out in parallel. Okay, glide the shoulders away from the neck. Moving on your exhale, create a push. Push that engages the chest muscles. And exhale, come on up into dolphin. Again, if you have shoulder issues, you may need to leave both arms on the ground. Feel for relaxing the weight of the head down. The head remains suspended. And we'll start the shift into the left arm. This allows me to pick the right elbow up, the hand up, and now the hand reaches for that right calf, that right ankle. Lift the sit bones away from the shoulder blades. And replace right arm to ground. We'll make a switch. As I shift the weight into the right arm, the left hand reaches for the left calf, the left ankle. So that back side can get a pretty decent stretch. Breathe into that back side. And replace, hand to ground, knees to ground. And you can shift back and either rest in a seated position or in embryo. But I encourage you to just take a few moments to allow the neck, the head, the upper back to be totally passive. And to simply receive the breath. And the neck muscles and the neck structure and the shoulder structure are free and breath responsive. The brain, the skull, the dura pulses, moves. It's free again. All right, we'll inhale, slip the hands under the shoulders, exhaling downward dog. Inhale, step any foot forward that allows you to face a direction in symmetric stance. Can't be more specific. You'll turn the way you want to face us all. But I'm just stepping to standing, wide symmetric stance as we set up for some horse stance. So I give the knees a little bendy bend and the hands on the thighs. So we're moving through some rounds of Agnisara, many kind of flappings. Inhale into the low belly, the pelvis. And swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty. I draw the belly back and release the belly. Draw the belly back. Release, draw back, release. When you need to breathe, release the belly, breathe. We'll do one more slow round, then we'll do a couple fast rounds. Here we go, another slow round. I won't talk through this one, I'll just do it with you. And we start with the exhale. Mm-hmm. If you need to just keep kind of lifting out to give your hands some relief, that's fine. Also, can be training to kind of use the musculature of your hands, so it's not just a weight in the discs and the joints of your wrist. Okay? Use your hand, your muscular arches, to support your wrist. Here's our 2 fast rounds. Here we go. So we start off with that exhale. I like to draw the belly in first, and then a series of lettings go and drawings back. Many and fast. Go faster, faster, faster. Now, as I'm doing the flapping part, sometimes the chest caves down over the belly. Use those hands and press the chest away from the belly. Away from the belly. And we'll round this out. One more fast round, Agnisara. And feel that your hands can be guiding the rotation of your thigh bones a little bit. And just that little manual rotation of the bones might assist you kind of getting into that outer hip, that lower back. Could use the hands, push the thighs. As the chest lifts away from your Agnisara belly, there's yet another degree of stretch. Some interest points. All right. So we're going to do a little side-to-side movement. So beginning with I'm just going to go with my right leg. You could choose to change your orientation on your mat. I'm going to treat my right foot as the front foot. So I'm going to turn my right foot to my right. And I have to walk and pivot my back foot, but I'm pivoting onto the ball mount, the heel up, the knee up, lunge. Now, just so that you know, this isn't structured how we often structure our lunges, but we'll be moving from lunge through horse stance through lunge a couple of times. Inhaling, using the arms, lifting abdomen away from pelvis. And then exhale, relaxing the arms down. Okay, so I'm just going to push myself back into that horse stance. Just walking the feet in a way that feels good on the knees. The leg muscles, a different story. Okay, so I'm back in horse stance. I'm going to move to my left. Just as long as we're breathing, we're doing great. I turn my left foot to my left. I just start to make that move, that shift. It almost looks like Warrior Two for a moment. And I keep walking and pivoting. And now I'm in lunge. Yep. Inhale, draw the arms up. And exhale, relaxing the hands down. I'm going to push back, come right back into horse. I'm just moving my feet around, just organizing so there's nothing pulling or twingy. Here we are in horse stance again. So I'm going to do that one more time to the right and to the left. This should get things pretty warmed up fast. Turning the right foot, as I shift my weight right, I almost pass through some semblance of a warrior stance, but I just keep pivoting. Lunge. Gonna push myself back into horse, adjusting the feet. And left foot turn left, weight shift left. I'm just going to walk my right foot to pivot. And shift back to horse stance. Very smooth, very smooth. And press to stand. We'll heel toe the feet just a little bit together because we're going directly into triangle. So I'm going to make my right foot the front foot. Inhale, reaching arms out to the sides. And now exhaling, I move into triangle by reaching right arm right, right ribs right, setting that right hand down. One of the hopes is I have a pretty good connection to those inner legs. The area around the hip is fairly warm-ish. As my inner legs are involved, I can afford to arc the chest just a little bit forward. It's just so I'm not collapsing or caving. What's interesting to me about collapse is I regard that motion or that tendency in the body to be a little sign of something undiscovered there. Like a little bit of a shadow or an undiscovered artifact. I'm kind of intrigued to notice collapse as a motion or behavior in the body. Now, extended warrior variation, inhale, we'll bend the right knee, and I'm propping my right arm on my right thigh. Opening up the stance a smidge, and left hand grabs thigh. Reach out through that right thigh. Instead of collapsing on that joint, you can strongly and vibrantly send those legs out. And you can be quite supported by the strength of the musculature. The nice thing about muscles being used to support us is they recover quite easily. They recover and turn over much faster than the harder, the stiffer, the tendon, the ligament. And release. Now inhaling, when we set our hands down under our shoulders, set the left knee down. And not pigeon, but think of this as half embryo. I'm actually going to walk my right foot back so my heel is quite under my butt. And I just walk my left leg back. Now from profile, this may look a lot like pigeon. Okay. Show you from backside. But I'm just shifting, walking my hips back. And for this, my heel does tend to be under my butt. If this is bothersome to the knees, then what we do is we just walk back partially, or we slip a block under our butt at a height that matches what our knees require. Sometimes I can't put all the weight on my knee, but I can put my butt on something. Okay. So in a way, this looks like a half pigeon, half embryo. I guess I'm rather intuitively drawing my left knee off the ground. Kind of doing this by actively reaching through the left heel. All right, inhale, bring the hands under the shoulders. Exhale, press back, downward dog. Now, that quality of breath we choose to work with. Can you still touch in quality of energy? There's a quality of mind, there's a quality maybe of emotionality, a quality of energy. Does it feel light? Does it feel soothing? Does it feel fiery and intense? I don't know what quality you're working with, but is it visceral to you? Is it felt? Can the beginnings of that be felt in your body? Triangle, inhale the left foot forward. And then exhaling, I reach the left hand forward, left ribs forward, setting the hand down, raising the right. All right. Bend left knee. Inhaling, we'll pick that left arm, put it on the thigh. So bring the right hand behind back, grab thigh. Extended warrior variation. So now instead of just kind of laying into my left hip, I'm going to press and get pretty muscularly active. I do want those deep, deep leg parts pretty warmed up. I can use this left arm in a nudging way so I can feel more lightness in the left hip. Release. When we inhale the hands down, I set the right knee down. And instead of walking the leg over for pigeon across the mat, I'm going to walk the left foot toward the back of the mat, which puts my heel more underneath my butt or to the side of my butt. Let me show you this way. Okay. So my heel's fairly tucked underneath my thigh. Okay. And some degree of just adjusting, walking that right leg back will be nice. Now I'm choosing to curl my back toes under, my right toes under, and drawing the heel back. While it doesn't make it easier for my muscles, it does take some of the weight off of my left bent leg. I'm taking this occasion, this half embryo on the left side, this half pigeon on the right side, to breathe into the low back, to breathe into the sacrum. Now, when we're breathing into the back and the sacrum, it might be interesting to you to feel, does breath kind of move under those bones? How do I guide my breath behind or interior to my sacrum? And inhale, we'll bring the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. All right, let's step the feet just somewhat forward and take a little bit of this squatting position as we set up for, well, looks like malasana or pashasana variations. So the first thing about my squat position for here is I want my heels to be on surface. So if the heels are in the air, kind of like a catcher, I want to get something underneath that. Okay. And then two, for the interest of challenge, I can bring my feet as closely in together as I like. I'm going to show you two ways we can play with this. One is just interlock, the most familiar way we've addressed this half pashasana. And the other is using a wall. And you might find that for shoulder issues or balance, using the wall is quite nice. So let's say, for example, we'll be entwining our right arm around the right shin. I could go right arm around shin, left hand behind back, and I connect my hands. That would be one way. I love that way. And if I wanted to, I could also use the wall for balance. I could do it a couple of ways. One, I can simply put the hand that will go behind my back, I can put it on the wall. And I could rest my interlock, my around the shin arm, just wherever. The benefit of putting this hand on the wall is it kind of keeps my chest somewhat open. So I'm not as liable to move into that collapse. And another way is I actually pin my hand with my butt against the wall. So I'm still on the right side. I'm just going through variations. I'm sure you're finding your way in there. And this allows me to just lean and kind of pancake my hand against the wall. And now I can just open-handedly put my left arm on the wall and work that chest opening. I really like this. This is so super sweet for shoulder injuries. You don't want to be twisting or stretching the shoulder capsule. Just kind of pin it, and then I can just stretch my chest forward. Because my left arm is on the wall like so, my forearm pushing the wall just kind of further accentuates or biases my chest forward. We're going to release, inhaling, set the hands under the shoulders. Exhale, downward dog. So use downward dog as our reprieve moment. All right, inhale. I'm going to walk the feet forward once again, and we'll work that half Pashasana on the other side. So I'm going to go with the wall just because the wall is so close and it's nice. So I'm working the left side, the left arm, and circling the left shin. And I'm going to select the latter option where my butt pins my hand to the wall. And then my right forearm reaches back for the wall. There we go. Cool. And when we release, inhale, we'll go hands under shoulders. Exhaling, downward dog. Take a rest. I want to show you a couple of options. We're in a place where we can get really, really silly and into it if we want. So I'm going to circle around to the dolphin strut that we did earlier and offer the leg raise. So I'm going to do it with the wall just because when I'm on one shoulder, I would rather not pivot or spiral just as a way to fall. I would rather not just my shoulder spiral out from under me. So I'm going to use the wall. Let me show you what this dolphin strut looks like. Okay, so I'm going to set my left arm. My left arm will be the stationary arm. And so my left hip is nearest to the wall. And just like we did before, the right arm grabs the ankle. And I'm raising the left leg up. Now I am using the wall. The nice thing about that is I can always not use the wall. And then it's always just there, just as a guide around my shoulder. Okay, So that's if you're accepting weight into both shoulders. Now, if not, you're still going to work strongly. So with our wall, I'm going to do some ekapada prep. So this is an either or. I'm going to do the first one in a moment, but here's a, so let's say I must keep both my hands, and so shoulders connected to the ground. I would step up just like downward dog at the wall, maybe a little higher. And I draw one knee really, really close to my ribs, my armpit. You can bend those elbows a tiny bit, relaxing the neck. 3 breaths. And I do the other side, 3 breaths. They each have their profile of complexity. Let's choose one of those. There's 2 sides. I'll give us about a half-time marker. So again, I'm going to do the dolphin strut one leg up with a wall. You could also do ekapada prep from downward dog at the wall, knee to chest, a little bend in the elbows. Okay, so there you go. Let's take a little time to get ourselves set up, because these are some wild places. So the strutters who are using the wall, the arm that is to stay down on the ground, I put it nearest the wall. I am very, very close to the wall. Those of you working the downward dog on the wall, the eka prep move. Keep a little bend in those elbows. Keep a little bend in those elbows. So probably working on the second side by now. And probably finishing up that second side. Okay. So I'll be talking us through a lying fold or a plow pose. I'm actually going to keep my mat near the wall because I'm just going to do a partial, I'll show, feet on the wall. So I'm going to do my plow with the feet on the wall. All right, so a lying fold just prior to our Shavasana. We'll start by lying on back. And then bringing the feet, the hips, either into a fold, so if you're delicate in the back and you just want to go legs up and allow the weight of the legs to just help relax and soothe the back to the ground, this is a marvelous pose. So you can just do this as a back lying fold. Wonderful on the back. You can draw the legs a little bit closer to your torso, which of course means the butt lifts off the ground. And I'm set up near the wall just so I can have my feet on the wall. This allows me to just very gradually accept that flexing of the spine. It allows me to go pretty precisely into the upper back. With some or all of my weight. And then unwinding from fold, or shoulder stand, or plow, unfolding as we move towards Shavasana. Once you're in a rest position, allowing breath to wash through the back side of your body. Know that you can remain as long as you need to allow the back to relax as fully as you desire. If, however, you are ready to move, bend knees, turn to a side, and press to seated. Well, we've done it once again. Namaste. May your mind, your body be clear for the day, for the week to come. I'll see you soon.